we go. Session. Okay, Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session. Court is in session in 2 cases. First case is cause number 324-9742. The second case is cause number 333-560. Both cases are style of state of Texas versus Mark Taylor. And cause number 333-560 is style of the state of Texas versus Mark Anthony Taylor. Mr. Taylor, is that your full name? Yeah. Mr. Taylor, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Taylor, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes, sir. Mr. Taylor, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Taylor? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Taylor. You're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Brian Lane. Attorney Lane, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor.
Mr. Lane, do you waive a record in Mr. Taylor's cases?
We do, Your Honor.
Mr. Taylor, in cause number 333-560, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that on or about June 10th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of possession of a dangerous drug. Mr. Taylor, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge, Mr. Taylor, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, and no contest? What do you say?
Yeah.
Guilty. Now, Mr. Taylor, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Mr. Taylor, I also have before me, let's see, a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It's on this tablet. I'm waiting for this tablet to come up. Here we go. Okay, Mr. Taylor, I have a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials, MT, that are on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Mr. Taylor, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, Mr. Taylor, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And, Mr. Taylor, I have another document that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Taylor, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that is titled Defendant? There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And Mr. Taylor, I also have a document here that's titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Taylor, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Taylor, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Lane, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? State, I have before me State's Exhibit. Well, let me ask you this question. Now, Mr. Taylor, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor, state offer stage 1.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Lane, you advised in counsel, Mr. Taylor, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent, St. Charles?
No, sir, Your Honor.
And Mr. Taylor, your attorney, Mr. Lane has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, I would accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defense plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending that the court defer adjudicating guilt at this time, Your Honor, and instead place the defendant on community supervision for a period of 9 months, Your Honor. Require the defendant to pay a $250 fine and to complete 30 hours of community service, Your Honor. And lastly, as part of this plea agreement, the state submitted the dismissal papers on cause number 324-972.
Okay, said 324-972.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, the state is offering that you serve, 9 months deferred adjudicated probation. And during this 9-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $250 plus court costs. The fine and court costs comes to a total of $677. You'll also be required to reimburse the crime lab $100. You'll be required to pay a probation fee each month of $60. And you'll be required to pay a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $160 per month. Mr. Taylor, will you be able to pay the $160 each month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let me just repeat that. That's a fine of $250 plus court costs comes to a total of $677. And $100 payable to the crime lab, no restitution, a probation fee of $60 each month, urinalysis fee of $15 each month, and a total monthly installments. And the total amount you'll be paying each month is $160. Okay. And now you will also be required to perform 30 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete a drug education class as directed by the probation department. And you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. And in conjunction with this plea, the state will be dismissing cause number 324-972. Mr. Taylor, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer? Okay, Mr. Taylor, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Taylor, if you successfully complete the probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It would not result in a conviction on your record, and you may qualify for a non-disclosure. And you can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent in those matters. And Mr. Taylor, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney and follow the directions of our clerk. And once you finish following her directions, they will give you a copy of this dismissal. And once you get a copy of this dismissal, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, if you don't mind placing
Thank
your
you.
right thumb on this
Okay,
tab.
and you're free to go as well, Mr. Johnson, and you'll be free to go as well. Mr. Lang,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Lang, you have a blessed day, and Mr. Johnson, you have a blessed day as well. And this will conclude the calling of the courts
You're gonna sign on this pad right here.
dockets, the motion to revoke probation docket, the announcement docket. Both dockets were scheduled at 9 a.m. This case was scheduled at 1:30 p.m. on today's date of November 4th of 2022 in County Court at Law number 2, Judge Terrence Holmes presiding. Everyone, please have a blessed weekend.
Just gonna get Mr. Lane to sign and I'll give your paperwork in just a second.